Hello and welcome to Destiny Digits. This is going to be the expression reading for expression number 6. In numerology, you have a core chart and it consists of 4 numbers. Your life path number, which I'm sure many of us are familiar with, talks about the opportunity that you have in this lifetime based on a set of traits that you are born with. That's using your birthday. Your expression number is derived based on your full birth name. And so if you don't know how to do the calculations, there's a link in the description box, and you can use that, plug in your full birth name, find your expression number, and then watch the video that correlates to that number. So 6s are lovers. 6, if there were one word to describe a 6, we're talking about responsibility. And so your expression number talks about the potential. So you have the potential to just be a person that demonstrates responsibility, not just for self, but it's really about your commitment to loving others, and wanting to see those around you just do well and thrive in a very nurturing, comforting, and secure way. Now, of course, energy, can be high and low. And so when you're talking about the spectrum of being a 6, you're talking about, a person who demonstrates generosity versus that feeling of self-deprecation, where you give and give and give and give to the point that you've depleted yourself, or you are not, really valued. People just kind of see you as someone that they can count on when they don't want to apply their own skills and knowledge. You are just kind of like, you can feel like a doormat because people just walk all over you or use you. Or, sometimes you can battle having that savior complex where you feel like you have to come to everyone's rescue. Those are the negative aspects. But, we're talking about a spectrum. And when you're really vibrating high, you're loving, you're compassionate, balanced, sympathetic, very protective. So yes, if your expression number is 6, you have the potential to be a very responsible person that takes care of not only self, but others. And people need you. People need that energy. And you have the strength to do it and to give it. Just like in astrology, how you have your sun, moon, rising, Venus, north node, your core chart, there are 2 cards here. Your core chart has 4 numbers also. And so this is the second of the 4. And the videos that I put up, you should be able to have 4 videos per series to watch based on the numbers in your core chart. So to begin the reading, I like to pull 3, if I can get it, 3 oracle cards. And then I'll pull cards from Thank You, Spirit. Oh, and it came out. It came out before, but they were 2 stuck together. So I put it back in, shuffled, came out again. I love it. So I pull 3 oracle. We talk about the bottom. I pull 3 numerology. And then we pull tarot. So this says faraway places, get ready for new horizons. That's at the bottom of the deck. That's the main message. And then we have taking shelter. The answers are within. Wise leader, you are a beacon for others. And answering the call, the time is now. This is beautiful. And remember how we talked about as 6s, responsibility is really kind of like that key word that represents what you do in life, mainly for others. I believe that right now you have a responsibility to self, because you really can only take care of others at the rate that you have taken care of yourself. And so I think that something within you is shifting, and it's actually going to show up in your outside world, not just your inner world, but you have something to do for others. But first you need to achieve and accomplish it within. And I think that this is the journey that you are on. I think that you are almost leveling up. When Spirit tells you to take shelter, they're saying, find solitude. because there are things that you need to know before you move forward. And all of those things can be found within you, and when you do step into the outside world to reach that potential of a 6, you will do so from a place of wisdom. You are a leader. You are a light for others. They do need you. They do need your protection. They do need your guidance. But first, you have to find that within. And Spirit says the time is now. Right. And so if you've been getting confirmations, if you've been feeling urges, if something within you is churning and you feel like there's something you need to be doing, there's something else, this isn't enough. I need to, if you've got that unsettling kind of energy just spinning around with nowhere to put it, Spirit says, go within. Right. That is the call. And you have to answer, and you have to answer now. Right? New horizons are available to you, and you have to get ready. And the way to get ready is to strengthen yourself and to gain the wisdom, to listen to Spirit, align yourself with Spirit. At the bottom of the deck next to faraway places, we have leader and mogul. So that's 2 times we see leader. We see it in the numerology deck, and then we see it in the oracle cards. And so you have a tribe, you have a group, you have people, you have people to lead. Whether you've met them or not, you have people to lead. But when you lead them, you are leading them from a place of your ascended self, right? You're leading them from this new place that you have arrived to. First, you need to arrive to that new place within you before you can manifest that new place in a 3D. It all happens within. And so if there's anything, if you've been seeing messages, birds, feathers, coins, repeated numbers, songs, those could be the call, right? When I first kind of tapped in to this spiritual world, it happened because I kept seeing 911 on the clock, like kept seeing it. And then, what do? You go to Google, and then you start reading articles, and just that one message, just that 911. And it felt like I was seeing it. I mean, it can only come on the clock twice a day, but it felt like it was happening like nonstop. And so sometimes that is the call, right? Sometimes that's the call. And that's what tells your soul, because your soul knows. Right? But it's just this human body that kind of has to get on board and sometimes catch up. So your soul knows, and there are messages that are aligned with what your soul has to do. And so those are triggers, right? Those are triggers for you to merge your physical self and your spiritual self so that we can get this mission on to the next level and underway. All right, in the center, so we're about to do a 9-card box spread using the tarot deck. And so normally the center card talks about kind of like just this central energy. And then we'll talk about the cards around it. So we have the 7 of Swords. Swords talks about clarity, our mental space, our thought life. And 7 in numerology talks about being introspective versus being I just had a self-centered, right? And so here we have somebody, they've taken 5 swords. 5 is a number of change. They've left 2. 2 is about cooperation. They've left 2 and they've taken 5. So this is somebody that is, changing something, right? Or they're changing certain aspects of some type of situation. But they're looking back because they are doing this in a way that is unknown, right? And so sometimes, leaving these 2 swords makes it seem like, it kind of gives the illusion that something is happening. But I feel like walking away with these 5, looking back suspiciously, you're doing something. This is the energy of like doing something without the acknowledgement of others being aware. Sometimes, we hear this is lying. This is some type of betrayal or deceit. But sometimes you have to move in silence as you build, as you grow, because not everybody will understand. Not everybody will, they don't, you know, they don't know the calling that you have um, on your life, and they don't know the responsibility that you have to others. So sometimes it's best to kind of sneak away and to make the changes that you need to make in total silence, right? Now we also have Ten of Swords, which says everything is fine. This is the card that talks about the end of a cycle that seemed like it was almost going to kill you, right? And so each of those swords created a wound. It pierced you in some kind of way. And you may not have known as each sword entered whether or not you were going to make it. But lo and behold, you actually were able to endure 10. And the beautiful thing about this card is that that phase is over, where you had to endure painful experiences that really left you, which would have felt like near death, right? But Spirit says everything is fine. Believe it or not, you survived. And you didn't survive so that you could worry. You didn't survive so that you could take this energy into the next phase. It's you survived because there's something left for you to do, right? You didn't die because you're not done, right? But each of those swords, unfortunately, although it never felt good, it was necessary. It was necessary. At the bottom of this deck, we have Seven of Wands. This is the card that tells us that sometimes you have to passionately stand for what you believe in, even if you stand alone, right? This is about aligning yourself to the truth that you know is not only good for you, but good for others. And even when others don't understand, even when you are dealing with, energies that at times may feel like it's an attack, you will conquer it. And if you have to conquer it alone, then conquer it alone. As long as it's integrity that you are using, then continue to fight no matter what. All right. So we have the Seven of Swords. This is kind of like that sneaky energy. And before that, we had the Ten of Swords. So a cycle ended, a cycle of, which, like I said, it felt like defeat, felt like loss, felt like betrayal, getting stabbed in the back. You put yourself in situations that you thought would have been one way, but lo and behold, it scarred you. It left a wound, right? And I don't think any of us would put ourselves in situations if we knew that, brutal pain was on the other side. And so this middle row talks about our current reality. And so it is in these energies that you realize that you are a beacon for others. And as a 6, like, this is what you do. You show up for others. That is literally what you do. And so Spirit sometimes our path is orchestrated in a way that gives us a perspective, and it gives us like something to teach. And the best way to teach is first by learning, right? So you had to learn energies of defeat, betrayal, loss. You had to learn what it felt like to be at rock bottom. Because when you're leading people, you're going to be leading people, serving people, responsible for people that need you. And who better knows how to overcome than you, who actually is overcoming, right? And so you got to this rock bottom point, and then we're at the Seven of Swords. So we can read this a few ways. You know, rock bottom caused you to learn that you have to move in silence. You have to do things, you know, um, without the support of others. When you try to take care of others, when you try to include others, when you try to carry the burdens of others, it kills you damn near, right? And so now it's kind of like, I'm only out for myself. And this is not in a mean way, but this is in a way like, I can't serve you if I first don't serve myself. I can't protect you if I don't know how to protect myself. So this is understanding your energy. This is understanding how to fight and how to win. And remember, you are all about others. So you're not learning to fight and to win for you, but you're learning it because others need to know how to do this. And you have lived it. You are living it. After we have this energy of sneaking away, moving in silence, then we have the Seven of Cups, which talks about options, choices, right? And so I'm at rock bottom. I need to do something differently. I need to learn how to move differently, right? Because when I'm in this energy of love and when I offer myself to others, not everybody is worthy of me or what I have to give, right? Sometimes people take advantage of me. Sometimes people lie to me, right? They make me think one thing and I go all in, but in reality, behind the scenes, it's a whole new ball game, right? And I didn't see it coming, right? Because I'm operating from this space of generosity, I'm sympathetic to the things that people go through, but it seems like that has scarred me, right? So next to this, we have egotistical, ungrateful, moody. And so this doesn't have to be your energy, but this could be the energy of those that did us wrong in some kind of way, right? People who are egotistical, they're only out for themselves. They're ungrateful. All that I did for them. And, when you do things for others, it's not because you want the recognition and the accolade. Like you don't want that, but you really do it because you are just a very nurturing and stable person and you think everybody deserves the best, right? And so if you can see a path to get them there, if you can help them along the way, that's exactly what you do. But sometimes you have to learn your gift first by having others misuse it and abuse it. Like you don't know what you have until it's gone. And how does it get gone? Out of betrayal, out of deceit. Like people literally suck the life. They suck the good out of you. And it's that feeling that you get when you're at rock bottom that teaches you like, this doesn't feel good and I don't want to be here. Like I don't want to stop helping. I don't want to stop loving. I don't want to stop assisting, but I can't do it like this anymore because this is killing me. Right? So we're in this energy of the Seven of Cups, right? So this is about choices, right? So it appears like there are many things that we think that can bring, and this is cups. So that's our emotional space. So we're deciding like, what better choices do I need to make? How can I choose differently? How can I invest myself emotionally in a way that doesn't leave me distraught, broken? Right? I know that I'm here for others. I know that I have a responsibility for others. I know that that's what drives me, but I can't do it. I can't help others at the point that I'm losing. I have nothing more to give because they've taken more than they've deserved. So when I make these choices out of love, like I do continuously and will continue to do, I need to do it in a way that is balanced. I need to really be, I don't need to do it from a selfish space. I don't need to do it from a self-centered space, but I need to like because you don't want to be bitter, right? You still want to be this lover that you are. But you have to gain some type of insight. And pain is like, that'll give you real insight real quick. Okay, so this is our current space. This is you realizing that you have something to offer others. And unfortunately, it was through painful experience where your energy and your gifts and just you were misused and abused by people who were ungrateful for what you could offer them. And so this has put you in that space of choosing differently, choosing wisely. Now, the bottom row talks about the baggage that we bring to situations, or something hidden for us, something hidden from us, something, that lies dormant in our subconscious. So this is where we get the answering the call, right? The time is now. And so beneath the everything is fine, the 10 of swords, we have 5 of wands. This can talk about like conflict, some type of competition, right? And so I'm feeling like when you put yourself in situations, next to this, we have sociable and artistic. When you put yourself in situations with others, it seemed like it was a battle. It seemed like you had to fight to be accepted, fight to be seen. Like you are a lover naturally, but love shouldn't feel like a competition. It shouldn't feel like a battle. It shouldn't feel like, you're dealing with your adversary, right? It shouldn't, like, that's not what love should feel like. And even if you show up from a pure space, it just always felt like a challenge. Like I know I'm only here to offer myself, but why does it feel like I'm fighting, right? I don't want to fight. I just want to show up and do what I love to do. But I, why is this happening? This is not really what I signed up for. Now, next to this, we have, the world, which talks about endings and beginnings. And so I think that this energy, you present yourself, you're a very compassionate person. And when you meet others from a compassionate place, a very nurturing and stable place, not everybody is going to receive you, unfortunately, even when you are, genuinely. I just feel like this is when we put ourselves in the wrong spaces, places with the wrong people, right? And we know we're in the wrong space when we have this 5 of wands energy where it's a struggle. And sometimes I talked about how, like, for me, seeing certain numbers on a clock continuously, like that was the call that I had to answer. That sparked something spiritually within me, and it made me in a 3D go and search. And then that just like took me on a whole journey. And that happened in 2011. But sometimes the call for you could be these struggles, these situations where it feels like it's always a fight for you to just exist as you want to exist, right? And so that this constant push pull, that could be your message that the time is now, right? Because you keep getting in these situations with these people or these workplaces where you arrive, you attempt to do and operate from a place of love, but it's not being seen. And sometimes that could be your trigger, that something has to shift. Not like go find, and something has to shift internally so that we don't keep being in this cycle of conflict with other people, because you're meant to serve and lead people, but you can't do that if it's a battle. Like that's just a misuse of your energy. But sometimes that's necessary to teach you about what you possess and how it should best be used in certain places with certain people. Like, you know what I mean? That could be the call, being done with this. And the world card literally says, like, if you dealt with deceptive people who abused you, who lied to you, who stole from you, who fought with you, who betrayed you, that's done. If that was the type of love that you dealt with, we're done, right? That was a lesson, a painful lesson, a hurtful lesson. Underneath this choice card, we have justice, right? So this is when things are becoming balanced. Things are going to start looking differently. I see cups, cups, cups. This is when a cycle of conflict, continuous conflict ends, and now we are beginning a balanced and fair, just, equal experience. Now we're starting a new journey, a new cycle, right? These situations were necessary because it triggered us to know that something had to shift. And when you decide to initiate the end of these types of cycles, betrayal, deceit, loss, when you understand that the choices that you make need to really set you up for success and not just empty out the best parts of you, when you get that, life will look different. Life will feel different. You first have to lead yourself through hard experiences in order to be that wise leader, right? You need to be able to tell people, these are the ways, these are the choices I made that like took me down this path. This is how I second guessed myself. This is how I ignored my intuition. This is how I fought with people who didn't even deserve to hear my voice, right? They shouldn't have even have been in my environment, but I compromised myself again and again and again. And, it took me to choose differently. It took me to choose me. It took me to no longer choose people who were egotistical and ungrateful. It took people to misuse me and abuse me this many times or in this many different ways for me to receive justice. But that justice first had to come from me giving it to myself and understanding who I am, what I possess, what I have to offer. Okay? So these two rows, our reality and then, our baggage, or just, this is just kind of just the situation that propels us. And so now we're in this top row. Now we are in the space of taking shelter. And that means we're going within. The numerology cards we have here say ambitious and determined. There is no turning back, right? There is no turning back. We are so sure about what we want to see in our life. Nothing can stop us at this point. We know where we were when we compromised. We know where it took us. We know what that felt like, right? When we were overly protective of people that didn't deserve us. When we, we're just giving our energy out to situations, people, places, things that didn't see us. It ruined the best parts of us temporarily, right? And so now we need to recover. We need to heal. We need to kind of lick our wounds, and we need to go inside, because we understand that when we come back out, we are coming out in a way that we have never come out before. So we have conflict, rock bottom, and then we have this Two of Cups. This is like that situation, if you represent one of those cups, this is you realizing what you have to offer and what you have to give, right? And then the other cup that is being offered to you or that you're receiving, it can be from your higher self. It can be from spirit. It can be from somebody that you meet that finally equalizes and reflects back who you are. It can be your match. It can be your pair. Above the Seven of Swords, we have the Four of Cups. And so I feel like once you hit rock bottom, you will better understand what type of cup you want to receive based on what you now know you can offer, right? We are no longer going to just accept anybody or allow anybody to come into our space. Four of Cups. This is an emotional space again. Four talks about also being responsible, but it's also a number of limitation. It's a number of setting boundaries in order to build from a stable place. And so I feel like being in this place of discontentment, you know, dealing with the same type of energy again and again and again. I mean, I think it has taken us to a point of reflection where we understand what we want, what we choose, and guess what? If this is rejection, if this is you offering yourself to others and you being rejected, or just being so stuck on what you've been through that you can't see the new offer from spirit, the wheel of fortune follows. So I feel like everything that you endured, it really looks like abuse, you know? The wheel is going to turn in your favor. But you have to be your first love, right? Because sometimes when you choose people that don't deserve you, before they reject you, you first had to reject what was good for you and accept what wasn't good for you, right? And so sometimes we are our first abuser. And then we just allow people to jump on that bandwagon. So when you set the tone for what you will accept and not accept and what you will tolerate, people can either get on board or they don't, right? But we give them that choice. And sometimes we don't realize in our behaviors and our choices, we gave them the choice of participating in the misuse of our energy, because we were doing that to ourselves. We were not listening to our intuition. We were ignoring our heart. We got all these little signs and red flags, but we decided not to pay attention to them, right? So that's if anything, that's doing yourself wrong, but you never really did others wrong. You were done wrong. And your ability to endure and to push through is what's allowing fortune to come your way, right? So just when you think that nothing good can come out of what you went through, one, perspective, you got perspective, right? But two, you'll start to see things in your life shift in a way that reflects that this cycle has ended of conflict, right? So the only way that you can see this new version of your life take shape is to go within and to be determined that you will never walk down these paths with these type of people in these places again. But they were necessary, unfortunately, so that you can understand how valuable you are and how sacred what you offer others really is. And so that it could mold you into the leader, right? You will teach people how you led yourself through betrayal, heartbreak, disappointment. You will be able to teach that now from a true place because you walked it and you lived it. Seven of Wands is at the bottom of the tarot, and that's the stand your ground. Like, you now know how to offer yourself, but to protect yourself first. You are lovers and you are people who like to protect, but you will protect yourself first in ways that you never have, because you understand what can happen when you don't. We have leader and mogul at the bottom of the numerology deck. Like, you can build something off of your pain, right? Like, fortune can come from this. From what seemed like failure, you can birth fortune. We have faraway places. Get ready for new horizons. So the new is here, right? And all of that darkness, all of just the letdowns, they pave the way for the new. And if you take what you were supposed to take from those situations and allow it to propel you, like, you will birth something inside of yourself to pass on to others in the way that you like, in the way that you are naturally designed to do. As a 6, as the expression 6, the lover, the responsible one, the compassionate one, the honest one, the true one, the giver, the generous, the generous one. Like you can teach people how to package themselves and love themselves and protect themselves, because you know what it's like when you don't. All right, 6s, I hope that this was beneficial in some way. Get ready for your next video, which will be Soul Urge. And thank you for stopping by.